So psychic protection crash course, 90 minutes. There's going to be a lot of information. The greatest conspiracy of all time regarding us human beings on this planet is the fact that we have been lied to. The greatest lie of all time. And the lie is that we are not powerful, that they are more powerful than us, that we're just mere humans and we don't have superpowers or abilities. And in order to defend them, to defeat them or to defend ourselves against them, we need to have superpowers, and only a select few have these superpowers. So that's the greatest conspiracy and the greatest achievement, because let's face it, everyone feels like we're just mere humans. And if we want to do healing, or we want to do connection with spirit, or talk to angels, or do soul or astral traveling, we need to have special abilities and we need to go through training. Imagine how different our lives would be if we were taught from young that we are special and we are powerful and we have all of these amazing abilities and we can do them. So today I'm going to just teach you some really cool stuff. All right. Just want to check everyone's cool, they can hear me. Fantastic. All right, proceeding along. Now, it's very, very important to remember that this entire creation, everything in our world and our reality is made up of energy. We are energy beings. The atoms in the solid table is energy. If you zoom right in a microscope, you're going to see that there is space between and everything is made up of energy. So it's all about vibration. And energy cannot be destroyed. So even if you were to come in contact with a dark entity, you couldn't destroy it, you can only transmute that energy, which means to change it, all right? So we're going to be focusing on energy and vibration, and everything in this reality has like different bands of energy. So you want to try and keep your vibration as high as possible, because when you dip, you're more accessible. The higher your vibration, the less accessible, right? So these energies and entities and negative thought forms and etheric structures and things like that that can affect us negatively in this reality can only affect us if our vibration is low. So the whole purpose and the intention is to keep our vibration low. The higher our vibration, the happier we are, the healthier we are, the more in tune we are, and the more powerful we are. All right. How's everyone feeling today? You know, if you suspect that you have a dark entity or a negative thought form attached to you, or maybe someone sent you a negative like curse or a spell, your vibration is going to be low. So how do we know that we're under psychic attack? Okay, we experience physical exhaustion. All right, so it's kind of challenging at the moment, because at the moment we're going through so many shifts on the energetic level, in addition to things like solar flares happening, which is also causing physical exhaustion. So there's a number of signs that you may be under psychic attack. Feeling physical exhaustion, restlessness, having nightmares is definitely a sign, especially if you have recurring nightmares. You're going to feel headaches and you're going to feel physical aches and pains, but you're also, for me, it's a very big sign when I'm under attack, because the negative thoughts start to come in. And I'm like, where are these negative thoughts coming from? And it's like negative self-talk, like, oh, that was really stupid, oh, you're such a fool. And I'm like, whoa, I've been doing so much work on myself. I can immediately tell if there's something trying to influence me, because that's why these beings attach to us. So negative self-talk, suicidal thoughts, definitely psychic attack, because on a soul level, you're all about life and creation and expansion. So anything opposite to that is going to be a sign that maybe something's a little bit off balance, okay? Feeling irritable, big one. Why? Because your vibration is low, because your energy is being drained. So now you don't have enough energy available to help you deal with everyday stuff. So you're going to feel irritable. You're going to be easy to trigger, right? You're going to be feeling that frustration. You're not going to have much time and energy for others and for yourself. Feeling paranoid and uneasy, definitely a sign, okay? If you're not in that space of joy and happiness and like, yay, everything's great, not saying like it's all the love and light sort of stuff, but that feeling like, something just doesn't feel right, you must trust your gut and your intuition. Waking up with strange bruises on your body, you know, the little ones, not the ones where you've knocked your knee against the table, but the little ones, and they usually happen on the arms, okay? Because, and it's like small little bruises, okay? And there might be a number of them. So on the arms, on the thighs, maybe like on your stomach area, top of the thighs, because those are defensive wounds, because we're battling on the etheric level, okay, our energetic bodies, and it transmutes and it carries through into the physical. So if you start to notice strange little bruises, definitely take note of that, okay? And then of course, like starting to have the thoughts or the feelings that maybe you are cursed and that there's a lot of bad luck in your life. Definitely a sign. Good. All right. So there's a difference between true light and false light. Okay, we know about darkness. And when it comes to darkness, I use the word darkness, but when I say darkness, I'm basically referring to everything that is not sort of consciously choosing every day to do what is good and what is right. So there's false light and there's true light. And this concept only got exposed to me a couple of years back, and I was like, whoa, this is really challenging, because the beings that control this planet, they're very smart as well. I mean, they're dumb at the same time, but they can be very smart. And they know how to say all the right things to get us to connect with what we feel is truth. So all the information that the darkness or those beings that have evil intentions share with us, there's always an element of truth. And we as souls know how to connect with the truth. So because we feel it, you know, a lot of people that get the goosebumps on their arms, they'll be like, oh, I can feel that, right? And of course, what happens is we then open up to that, and then anything else that sort of comes in as a result, we then take as truth. So it's a very clever little scheme that they've got going, but there's a lot of false light. So it kind of feels like the light, but then it's jaded and it's shaded and it's misdirected, and it takes us off path in a different direction. So it's very important to keep asking yourself and checking in with your higher self, is this from the true light? So even when I was doing rituals before, when I was with the mystery school or I was teaching, we would just call in the light, but there's different shades of light. So it's always about your intention. You want to make sure that you are calling in the highest frequency, true light, okay? There's technologies available on this planet as well that can manipulate frequencies and energies. And there's a very big sort of thing that's happening at the moment with our emotions. So there's actual technologies available out there that are being used currently to impulse us with frequencies that bring out emotions. Now, emotions are linked to hormones. So we know if someone's hormone balance is off, they're quick to anger or get irritable or maybe cry. So like ladies with menopause, they can just all of a sudden burst into tears. It's because it's linked to our hormones as well, which means it can be manipulated. And there's a difference between emotions and feelings. So I would say emotions are kind of like of the physical, man-made, whereas feelings link you to your intuition. Really powerful. So I had an experience where last year, September, because it was the passing of my dad's anniversary, or the anniversary of my dad's passing. And it's been 20 years. And for some reason, I just got so emotional that day, to the point where I was rendered useless. I was chunking like a dog, really, really bawling my eyes out. And I just thought, where is this coming from? And then I realized, wait a minute, something is attacking me. So I have to say the words out loud. And it's very important that we speak these words, especially in this day and age, because our spoken word is a command. It's like you're issuing an instruction to a computer program. You need to see it like that. You know, it's like you can't just think the command. You need to type it out and then hit the enter key for it to take action. And this is why we need to use our words as well. So when you are feeling a lot of emotion, you need to speak it out loud. And what I find works for me is I just say, emotions off. It's like I'm issuing that command. And I was bawling my eyes out, and there's emotions off. And she's gone. I was like, wow. Talk about manipulation. It completely ruined my whole day being that emotional. My eyes were swollen. I needed to sleep after. But I was like, okay, now I know what it feels like. So you want to be able to discern between what is a manipulation and what is actually a feeling from your intuition and your gut. So use that command, okay? Very, very powerful. Write it down if you have to, but emotions off. Say it out loud, Okay. Now, one of our greatest tools and abilities is our imagination. No healer, magician, light being, angel, elemental, magical being, wizard, high priestess, witch, whatever, magus or mage, cannot perform magic or do healing or call in energy without using imagination. And part of the conspiracy to keep us small and human and disempowered and enslaved is to, from a young age, teach us that our imagination is not real and to be disregarded. How sad is that? I speak to so many adults these days and I say, just imagine it, and they really, really struggle. You need to reignite your imagination, because if you want to fully empower, you've got to have an amazing imagination. And if you're struggling to imagine things, then I recommend go watch movies that are going to like activate your imagination. You know, like fantasy movies, like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, anything where there's magic and magical things, all right? There's lots of videos online, or like, you know, like free stuff where you can just activate your creativity. But you got to get back into that childlike state, because innocence means in no sense. In other words, beyond the senses. The senses are of the physical realm. So you want to go beyond the physical and you want to engage with your sixth sense, which is your imagination. So imagination is vitally important. So, so important. And you're going to see why that when you're doing these kind of clearings or healings or bringing in intentions, and that it is so important. Okay, good. My mouth is dry. All right, free will. Free will is our greatest gift from our Creator, the Creator of all that is. And I wanted to ask, I'm going to quickly put this here on the chat as well. I got another little question for you. Have you, where is that one there? I don't have it. Is it this one? Have you ever experienced sleep paralysis? That's what I wanted to ask. You know what sleep paralysis is? It's when you wake up at night time. Oh, I don't have it. All right, well, it doesn't matter. When you wake up at night time and you can't move, your body is paralyzed, but you can feel like there's something attacking you or sitting on your chest, you're struggling to breathe, you can't speak. You're paralyzed, and it's awful. It's awful. And I remember when I was younger in Sunday school, they taught us a little prayer that if you ever feel scared, you should just say, in the name of Jesus Christ, I rebuke you. Well, I couldn't speak, but I said it in my mind and nothing happened. It was awful. And it happened over and over again. And this is where I was taught by my higher self that the most powerful force in this entire creation is the power of our own free will. The power of our own free will. And I was told by my higher self that even if God, the Creator, okay, the Almighty Presence, Spirit, were to come into my space and I used my free will and said, by the power of my own free will, I command you to leave my space, he, she, it would go. Because there's no greater gift, no greater honor, no greater law than free will. So that's very powerful. So I used it and it worked, and I've never had that experience again. So for those that have experienced it, it's something that's horrible. You never want to experience it. So very, very powerful. So there's lots of prayers out there and there's lots of rituals that you can do. But if you can just remember this one thing from today, your life will change. I promise you. All beings must follow the Creator's law. They cannot intervene or force our free will. Of course, they're trying to sidestep and bend this rule at the moment on this planet, but there will be a reckoning, and they will get what's coming to them. Right. Good. Just checking in, seeing if everyone's still good. Hello. All right. Moving on. So who or what is doing this psychic attack? So we've got beings, energetic beings, and then we've got physical beings. Okay, if you are coming under psychic attack from another human being. All right, you get like really bad human beings, let's say, you know, people that are satanistic, for example, and they go and they do a whole satanic ritual and they've got some of your hair, or like in South Africa we call it, you know, the black magic with the muti, you know, and the black witch doctors or the sangomas. They take some of your hair or, you know, something of yours, and they perform a whole ritual, and they send out the energy with the intention to hurt you, to either make you sick or cause you to die or to lose all your fortune, you know, marriage breaks down, all of that. Okay, so that's done with intention. Then you get those humans where they're either angry or jealous of you, and they're just sending a shade. We call it throwing shade, okay, sending a negative energy. And what this is doing by them having those negative thoughts, like, oh, it's like they're casting a spell on you. They're sending those negative energies. And that stuff really sort of sits in your energy field. The other way is like, you don't even know the person. Let's say you accidentally cut someone off in traffic and they land up swearing at you and throwing you a zap sign. That's also throwing shade. That's also casting a spell. So if enough people are doing that, or enough people are angry or jealous of you, it's going to keep sending this negative energy. And I always visualize it like mud being thrown on your windscreen. Eventually you're not going to be able to see, your energy is going to be low, and you're going to need to clear that. All right, good. All right, so that's the human side. Then of course there's the beings, right? So we've got the beings that are either drawn to you because of your light, because they're wanting help. That would be like your lost spirits and your ghosts. They're not necessarily bad, they're just looking for help, they're lost. So they don't really fall into this category of psychic attack. But if they're visiting you or they're interacting with you and it's causing you to freak out, I want you to remember that you are the one that has a physical body, and this is your life and your reality. So you have the higher authority. So I was telling a lady the other day as well, you're allowed to say, hey, this is my space, you need permission to enter. Okay, I don't mind, you can make an appointment to come and see me, but you need to set an appointment, okay? And you can do that by basically like visualizing and creating your safe space, and almost like putting a sign at the front door saying by appointment only, okay? It does work. It worked where my late grandfather used to come and visit me often, and it would freak me out because I'd be climbing out the shower, for example, and I'd see him out the corner of my eye. I'm like, damn it, you know, or I'd walk into the kitchen and the fridge door would be standing open. It freaked me out in the beginning, so I was like, okay, just stop, please, all right? So those are beings that don't necessarily intend you harm, but yeah, they're showing up, and it's a yucky feeling, okay? So you have the right to change and adjust that. Then you've got the beings that are sent to you with a purpose and a mission. Okay, who sent them? Well, they're higher up, leaders, for example. Why would they be sent to you? Because you're growing, you're expanding, you're starting to power up, your light is starting to shine a bit brighter, and now you're on their radar. And they don't want you realizing just how powerful you are. Because then not only will you become powerful, but you might start to teach other people. And then the whole illusion is going to break down. So they try and get you before you actually fully realize who you are. And it happens with children a lot. I'm sure everyone here probably has memories about when they were a child and they could see and feel things, and there was no one really around to like help and guide them. And yeah, just like me, shut down their powers and only reignited them much later. So those beings are sent to you on purpose to shut your energy down and keep you low vibration. And if they can keep you distracted by creating drama and making you feel down and depressed and negative and like ill, then you're not focusing on like your power and what you can do to complete your mission or task on this planet, okay? And then of course there's like the full-on demonic entities or beings, right? And they're a much higher level. And I remember my higher self once saying like, oh, you should feel special that they send such a high level demon after you. I was like, okay. Anyway, so you're going to get the demons, you're going to get negative entities. An entity is a being or an energy being that is parasitic. So it's going to attach to your energy field and it's going to start to drain your energy, okay? And then you get like elemental beings as well. So we know about the elementals, earth, water, air, fire. That's the sylphs and the fairies and, you know, the elves and that. but you can also get negative versions of them. So just to say, you know, it is possible. Like maybe you've upset them, maybe you pulled a tree out of your garden without first asking permission, and now you've upset the whole ecosystem. So now they're a little bit angry with you. You know, a lot of people are reporting that they're being visited at nighttime by like alien beings, especially the greys and the reptilians. So those are also negative ones. And then you also get negative thought forms. And this is where it's like definitely thinking a lot about your demise. So it almost like starts to become its own sort of being. All right, good. I need to just quickly go and get some water. I hope that you will excuse me for 2 seconds because I realized I didn't fill up my water. In the meantime, I'm going to put another poll up here that I want you to answer for me. All right, so do you believe that anyone can access the ability to do powerful spiritual work? Okay. And I also wanted to ask as well, if you feel like there are ghosts in your home or your workplace. Let's have a looky-see over here. All right, so no one's answered that poll yet. And okay, let me have a look over here, view the results. All right, so do you have the ability to do spiritual, powerful spiritual work? Yes, you just need to unlock it. Fantastic. Okay, good. All right, let's go back here. How's everyone doing? You're still looking good, hey? And you can hear me. Sarah loves typing on that keyboard. Yay. Thanks, Sarah. All right, let me go back to that poll quickly. Do you feel like you have ghosts in your home or your workplace? Okay, keep that one active. All right, so just to go back, we were talking about like darkness and evil. All right, so when I refer to darkness, what I'm meaning is those beings that don't have good intentions for us, okay? They might not necessarily be evil, but it's kind of easy to explain to people that there's light and there's dark, okay? And if it's dark, it means it's negative, and if it's light, it's supposed to mean loving and that. However, we all have darkness inside of us. And those of us that are the strongest warriors, almost 100% guaranteed, have had previous lifetimes and experiences where you have been the darkness. You've either chosen consciously to become dark, to experience, or you've gone in undercover to learn about the enemy in order to assist with overthrowing it. And does that make us evil? Well, we might understand it better. Does that make us more powerful? I think so. Because now, you know, a powerful warrior definitely knows the enemy. My husband has got such a wonderful dark side. He can preempt any sort of nefarious thoughts coming from a mile away. He knows them better than they know themselves. All right, but just for this purpose, it's nice to kind of remind people that darkness, okay, is low vibrational energy. So things like death and dying, demons and the devil, all sorts of D, you see? Drama and deceit. Because beings of light, or when you're of a high vibration, you're not going to interact with people like that. You're not going to experience that. So you're going to be lifting yourself out of that vibration. Disease and depression, okay, lowers your vibration. When you're in a high vibration, you heal. And there is such a thing as spontaneous healing. You feel disconnected, you feel distance, you create damage to yourself and to others, and of course there's destruction. Whereas with light, okay, there's life, there's love, there's living, there's leadership, and of course, most importantly, there's laughter. And if you have little children, or you are in the presence of little children, you'll know that when a child laughs, it's so beautiful and pure. It's like glitter just fills the whole space. And I can tell you this, demons hate laughter, especially if it's genuine. So you need to laugh more in your life because that's going to raise your vibration, all right? And I just want to mention quickly as well, this whole thing about false light. It's all about getting people to align and to become programmable. If you've got people in your space, or if you yourself are still doing the whole love and light, you know, bye, love and light, I want you to take a moment to just be aware of the words that you're using. Do those words come from you or from someone else? Do you really feel that? How else could you say something similar without saying those exact words? Because my previous teacher used to call it the love and light brigade. It's just an automated response now. It's devoid of actual power and meaning. So stop doing the unconscious, stop sleepwalking, stop saying what everyone else is saying, make it your own, be an individual, inject it with conscious energy in that moment, okay? Good. All right, having a look here. Okay, so we've got, do you feel that there's ghosts in your home or your workplace? Yes, I can sense a presence, but it doesn't feel dark or evil. Fantastic. And yes, I get the sense that someone is there when I look, but I can't see anyone, and it makes me feel uneasy. All right, good. Well, we're going to come and get back to that. Okay, so closing that, good. All right, going back to the power of free will. And I've put it in the manual, and I want you to really remember this, okay? Anything that happens or that is said after you say the words, by the power of my own free will, is going to be powerful, okay? When you are working with magic, setting intention, creating commands, changing this world that we're living in, you need to be very clear about what you want, what the objective is, what results you want to see, and of the words that you use. You know, with affirmations, you know, we are taught, make sure it's in the present, okay, not past tense, make sure it's positive, okay? When we're dealing with subconscious beliefs, we can't pull a negative belief where the word like don't or not is in it. So if I'm pulling the negative belief that I am not powerful, I will access the belief of I am powerful, no, okay, to pull it. So just be aware of the words that you're using and what it is that you are commanding the universe to change in the simulation for you, okay? So, by the power of my own free will, I command. Now I use the word command, which is different to demand with a duh, because demand is from the ego and it does carry a negative energy. It's the enforcing will upon others, okay? This is your reality. You have the right. Therefore, by the power of my own free will, I command that the following happen, all right? So I command, and command is like from a place of just like knowing. It's, I know I'm one with the Creator. I know I'm made from that same soul essence. I know I'm loved and protected. I know I'm here to create, you know, a change and to uplift and empower. Therefore, I come from a place of authority without ego, okay? So I command that all negative entities, negative beings, negative thought forms. You see how I'm saying negative each time? Because if I just say negative entities, beings, thought forms, it could be any thought forms, okay? So be specific. Negative thought forms, negative etheric structures, negative implants, negative technologies. Now let's talk quickly about implants and technologies, okay? When we use our imagination to scan somebody, like let's say all of a sudden now you've got this weird headache and you're like, wow, where's this headache coming from? Now, it's usually easier to scan other people than it is to scan ourselves, but you're going to get better at this. And if you're struggling to scan yourself, I always say that remove yourself from yourself then and observe yourself in the third person. But if you are scanning and you're like, why do I have this sharp pain right in the center of my brain? All of a sudden you get this thought like, oh, maybe it's a microchip, or maybe it's a nanobot, or something weird like that. Where would that thought come from? Could it be intuition and your inner guidance? maybe you should follow that, right? So implants, for me, they usually like come from future technologies, okay? Technologies beyond this physical realm. So like alien technologies or implants. I've seen cochlear implants and implants in the throat to like shut down the vocal cords. I've seen implants in the ovaries to prevent women from falling pregnant, all kinds of things, right? So you can get alien implants, you can get technology. So it could be wiring or weird microchips or like weird like crystalline structures or something. So a lot of times you're not really going to understand or be able to decipher what you're seeing. You just get a sense that it's negative. So I like this, the power of free will thing that I put in your manual, because it kind of covers it all. And then if you don't want to delve too deeply into it and sort of like find out like what is it and where does it come from, just remove everything, okay? So by the power of my own free will, I command that all negative entities, negative beings, negative thought forms, negative etheric structures, negative implants, negative technologies, negative spells and curses be removed from me and my energy field now, and sent to the 5th dimension or higher to be transmuted into light for healing. Okay, so in the past, us as light workers, we were taught you could send it back to where it came from. And the purpose of sending it back to where it came from was so that whoever sent it to you could experience what it is that they've sent to you. And because you send it back, it gets amplified, and it's so that they can learn their lesson. So that karma basically teaches them, this is what you're doing to others. You need to feel it. You need to feel remorse. You need to ask for forgiveness, and then your healing can begin. But with the way things are going at the moment, I don't want to send anything negative, because I'm trying to uplift everyone. And if we think about this, okay, if we want to punish those that are hurting us, it's engaging us in negative energy, the denser vibration. If what we're trying to do is actually uplift the entire frequency on this planet so that everyone here starts to grow in consciousness, can you imagine all those dark beings that have done all those disgusting things, okay? All of a sudden start to realize what they've done. They grow in consciousness and they start to feel remorse. We want them to start to activate and start to realize, hold on, there's more to this. Like having that kind of power over defenseless children, for example, doesn't make you powerful. You know, it makes you sick. So you can choose, it's your free will, you can do as you like. But for me, I've now changed my tactics and I send it to the 5th dimension, because the darkness that we're feeling at the moment, the heaviness is actually like 4th dimensional frequencies, because that's where these reptilians and the archons and this AI technology actually resides. So we want to bypass the 4th dimension and go straight to the 5th dimension, because it's a higher vibration, and it's not too intense for the beings that are being sent there, and it's almost like they're going to go into rehabilitation. All right, so I send them there so that they can already start the process of being healed. Now, when Phoenix and I were doing clearings with, you know, demonic energies and things like that, Phoenix would give them an option. You can either take the path, okay, to the 5th dimension and go back into schooling basically, or you can come with me and we're going to go wrestle for a bit. And when those demonic energies were given the choice, they were shocked. You think about it, like for how long have they been enslaved and just had to follow orders and try and work their way up the ranks? For what? Even more torture than that. They'd forgotten that they were given a choice. Everyone has free choice. And in that moment, they would almost like change their frequency, and they'd be like, okay, and they would make the choice, which is such a huge step for them. Think of like all the good that's going to come back to you when you help others that way. All right, so you finish off by saying, this is my command. Let it be done now in the highest and best way. All right, so it's almost like an extra safety for yourself, because you're basically saying as well, like to your higher self, just manage this for me. Just make sure it's done in the highest and best way. Because sometimes we can find implants in our energy field that are actually good for us. I had an alien implant that was in my chest for many years that helped me to open my heart chakra and engage more with people, because I was very sort of shut off from humanity because of what I went through as a child. So that really helped me. So you don't want to remove stuff that's actually good for you, all right? So this is my command, let it be done in the highest and best way. And then you end off by saying thank you. And the thank you is because you know it will be done, because you are authorized to make that command, and because you are supported. So going back to the biggest conspiracy on this planet, we've been taught and programmed that we're not powerful, that we're small, weak, and pathetic, that we're just mere humans of human flesh. Our bodies have been manipulated on purpose to not only have our DNA like disintegrated and pulled apart and manipulated, but that our bodies die young. Like, it's ridiculous. We should be able to live to be, hundreds of years old. So we need to remember, we need to reactivate. We have the power, we have the right, and it will be done. Have a little faith, okay? So thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. We do it times 3, okay? Now, we need to witness the miracle. Very, 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 very important. I cannot stress this enough. Because a miracle that is not witnessed doesn't become real. If a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a noise? No. You've got to witness it. And this is where imagination comes in, and it's vitally important, because you need to take the time to now witness, using your imagination and your visualization, see everything happening, okay? It pulls it into the physical and active and anchors it for you, making it real. It seals the deal, basically, okay? So you got to visualize it. So you've just issued the command with your spoken word, okay? If you have to do it quietly, at least try and mouth it, okay? I cannot stress enough how important it is to speak these words in this reality at the moment, okay? Very, very important. And then visualize it. Visualize the light coming in. Visualize the entities being pulled out. Visualize them being sent into a portal into the 5th dimension. Visualize the healing energy coming in and clearing you. Visualize a protection around you. And visualize it until you feel it is done. It doesn't need to take 10 minutes, 5 minutes, half an hour. It can be quick, but make sure you visualize the process happening, okay? And you can go faster and faster next time. Even just like, it's like you fast forward. I watch all my YouTube videos on 1.5 times the speed. It drives my husband crazy. But that way I get more information in a shorter period. And it's the same with visualizing. You can speed up the video that you're watching. Okay. Now, sealing the deal. You want to raise your vibration after. Okay, because that interaction has actually lowered your vibration a bit. So you want to raise your vibration by taking a few deep breaths in, because breath and oxygen is the spirit molecule. So you want to raise your vibration, just bring yourself into your awareness, and then access a memory or a thought that's going to bring you joy and bring a smile to your face. That's very important. Okay? Not like with Peter Pan. He's got to think a happy thought before he can fly. You want to fly again. So have something in your memory bank or your tool bag that you can pull out, okay? For me, it's always my kids, or, something really funny, or, family, or maybe it's an achievement. Tony Robbins does there's an amazing video. What is it called? It's like a morning ritual that he does in the morning. If you want it, just remind me and I'll send you the link. But it's visualizing, like, okay, think back to memories of like when you did something good, or like, when you were proud of yourself, there was an achievement, you were acknowledged for something good, it made you feel good. Now think of something else, and then when you're in that higher space and state, now think about what you want to create and what that's going to be like and how amazing your life's going to be, and then like, but he does like breathing, and he's like arms are pumping, and it's like 30 deep breaths, and you're like, oh, you feel like you're going to faint. But it's about raising that vibration. It's very, very, very good. So seal the deal, okay? By raising your vibration, it brings you back into the heart space, all right? Because it's all about being in the brain and physical, and when you're here in the denser energies, you're not really connecting. So you've got to get your vibration up again. All right, good. All right, good. Everyone's still with me, hey? Doesn't matter if you're not. There'll be a recording, and you can watch it later. All right, I'm just going to carry on. Now, rituals. So much has changed on this planet like everything, like I just went through 2 weeks of like reassessing everything again. I am reassessing all of my workshops because I have been exposed to new information that's made me realize, like, whoa, some of my teachings from before that were handed down to me are woven with darkness and misinformation. And obviously the darkness is going to use the same kind of tools that the light uses. So at the end of the day, it is all about your intention. And both the light and the dark use rituals. So a ritual is essentially an action that you do that calls in energy so that you can use it and then dispel it. So when we're doing healing, okay, like you walk into a healer's room, there's probably going to be like a surface area. They might not call it an altar, but maybe it's got their crystals there, it's got some nice flowers, or it's got like figurines. You know, it's their happy place where they are honoring spirit. Okay, so you don't have to have an altar, but if you got a place where it's like, this is where your special space, where you got your crystals and photos of your loved ones, and you know, you want to set the intention maybe with your pyramid crystal on a piece of paper where you've written an intention and place it on top, that's great, do that. Okay, rituals work, and they have for a very long time. So if you get into a ritual where in the morning, you know, you drink a glass of water, you meditate, you connect, you then do whatever, and then, you know, like there's a ritual at lunchtime where you're going to stop and you're going to have something to eat, that becomes a ritual. And if you use it, if you do it with intention and presence, it can be very powerful. Even the act of eating is very powerful, and it should be sacred as well. You're taking in that energy. So be aware of who you are sharing space with at that time. All right, so rituals are very powerful. Don't know why my mouth is so dry. I'm just so excited to be with you. Yay. It's been a while since I've been alive. All right, so clearing negative energies. So just to take a step back, when you feel like you're under psychic attack, okay, you can be sitting in traffic, you can be talking to someone on the phone, you can be in the shopping mall, you can be lying in bed at night, and all of a sudden you get like a weird pain. For me, that's always a sign that entities are attaching, especially like on the back. I'll get it like, ugh, like where my lower ribs are, or like by my coccyx, or up near the top, I'll be like, ding. You can feel the parasitic energies trying to attach, okay? So I'll just be like, whoa, 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 stop, hey. And I'll quickly like take a deep breath and I'll state out loud, by the power of my own free will, I command that you leave my space now. Detach, okay? It is commanded. Thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. And then I visualize, and I visualize myself filling with so much light that I'm pushing out anything that is trying to attach, okay? And then clearing myself, filling myself with more energy and light. So if you feel like you're in traffic or something and boom, you're feeling the shade, put up a shield, you know, put up a shield and deflect that energy. You have the right, okay? You have the power and you have the ability. You just need to believe, okay? So maybe in this moment, let's focus on like, what would some of our negative beliefs be? Beliefs that don't serve us. You know, you're small, you're pathetic, you're puny, you don't have special powers, you know, you're not special. And let's take a moment to use our free will now to consciously, in this moment, command that they be removed from our space, okay? So ask your higher self, your soul, to quickly just like list all the negative thoughts, all the disempowering thoughts that you may have about yourself, about your abilities, about being separated from God, about not getting it, getting to the end of your life and realizing that you failed your mission. All of these negative thoughts that come up, okay? I struggle to communicate. I can't feel my power. I don't know what to do. I can't access my inner guidance, okay? Pull them up, list them, okay? Visualize it, okay? So now, let's state it out loud, okay? By the power of my own free will, I command that my higher self, who is connected to the creator of all that is, clear me now of negative beliefs, negative thoughts, and negative energies that keep me disempowered, keep me disconnected, and keep me small. I now choose to release all that no longer serves me, and I now command, by the power of my own free will, that I activate more of my truth, my power, and strengthen and widen my connection with my higher self and the creator of all that is. This is my command. Let it be done in the highest and best way. Thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. Now we need to witness the miracle. So close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and visualize that whole list as you're scrolling down. Boop, they're being deleted. Boop, deleted. Pulled out of your core matrix, pulled out of your cells, pulled out of your area, your life, your physical life. See it all being erased. See all that energy that was used to hold that stuff in place being sent off and transmuted into other energy, good clean energy. And now see yourself starting to activate. See more of your power dialing up. See that connection, that communication pipeline widening and activating. Feel yourself filling with more power, more ascension energies, more realization, more confidence, more peace. And then seal the deal by thinking of a real happy thought, a memory. It can even be a future memory of that amazing life that you are creating on this beautiful planet with amazing awakened beings, where people are aware and they're filled with love and they're joyful. Good. It is done. Yay! Give yourself a big hug. Tell your body you're proud of it. Yeah, body's going through changes. Your body's like, whoa, I just received this huge download of information and energy. What's going on? It's okay, body, I love you. You're amazing. Hello. Hello, Deep. So nice to see you. All right, good. All right, we're going to go on to energy clearing now. Space clearing and energy clearing. So, do any of you have mirrors in your home that face each other? Okay. So if they're facing each other, you know, like when you climb into an elevator and you've got the mirrors all around and you sort of see infinity. Oh, it's horrible. I want to know if you have got mirrors in your home that face each other. And I'm going to tell you why now. Okay, so click the poll on the video. All right. So mirrors can become portals. A portal is a gateway. Okay, we see them in movies. Alice in Wonderland, the latest one, right? You see where she walks through the mirror into a different reality dimension. So mirrors can become portals, which means it becomes a gateway, either for dark energy to come in and good energy to escape, or it could be used as a portal for beings to come in, but I haven't experienced that. So when I find a portal or a gateway, it's usually one that needs to be closed down. Okay, so now mirrors that face each other definitely create a portal. So you do not want to have two mirrors facing each other. Okay, it's going to create a negative portal. It's going to create a rip in the fabric of time. It's going to be horrible. You're going to have to close that and seal it. Okay. Another thing about portals is they can also be linked to water. All right, so if you've got a pond, a fish tank, a swimming pool, a bucket of water outside by the leaking tap, I've experienced that before, it can also become a portal. So when you are scanning a property for negative energies, and you're going to ask the question like, is there a portal where energy is draining and bad energy is coming in? If you get a yes, you need to use your imagination and say, okay, show me, and it will most likely be where there's water or a mirror. Okay, so there's some good stuff up. Don't worry, there is stuff in the manual as well. I know that we're going through a lot of stuff, but it's just because this is a crash course. Okay, all right, so clearing negative energies. So now we've got negative energies in our space. Now if we are living with a lot of negative energies, it's going to keep our vibration low. So part of psychic protection is making sure your space is clear. All right, so negative energies are just low vibrations that are caused by stress and anger, illness, sadness, even sickness. So if your family's been sick, you're going to want to clear your space after. All right, and energy is like skin. It falls off the body and creates dust, and it gathers in the corners. Okay, if you want to do an online sacred geometry class, you'll learn about how houses have moved from being circular to square, where there's nice corners that keep energy stuck. We need to move back to living in round houses, okay, and we'll feel a lot better. Anyway, little side note there. Okay, so let me just close that little poll down quickly. Okay. Good. All right, so with negative energies, we want to go and clear them. So you can clear the energies with your mind, but a lot of people, they want to see something physical as well, because, you know, the body is a physical being and it wants to see the results. So I'm going to teach you about the cleansing bowl of fire. All right. So for this, you're going to need an oven-proof dish. The reason why we're going to do this bowl of fire is because it creates a vortex, a little like, looks like a tornado of fire. Okay. Well, I did it once and it was like a tornado, but when you create flames, it creates an energy vortex that's going to suck in or vacuum in all the negative energy, and it's going to send it to a higher vibration state of being. So that's really great. We know fire is a great transmuter of energy. So with this bowl of fire, you're going to use it in your home or in your workspace, or you could do it for a friend. And the nice thing about this is it doesn't smell. So some people, they don't like the smell of sage or incense, and they don't want you to come in here with your woo-woo stuff. So this is great. So it's just a glass oven-proof dish with tin foil inside. You're going to place Epsom salts inside. All right, so depending on how big the bowl is and how big the room is, if I buy a box of Epsom salts like this, I would usually use like half a packet of Epsom salts and then a bottle of surgical spirits. Okay, surgical spirits, the girls know it because when we got our ears pierced, we had to clean our ears for like 2 weeks after because of the infection. So you can buy surgical spirits from your pharmacy. You don't want to use like methylated spirits or thinners or tubes or something like that, okay, or oil. You want to use surgical spirits, and think spirits, okay, and we want to get rid of the spirits. So you're going to wet the Epsom salts, not too much. Think of a slush puppy where it's wet but it's not very runny, okay, and then you make sure that all the Epsom salts is wet, and then you're going to light it. So what I suggest is you take like a wooden board or like a dinner plate, and you place the bowl on top of that, and you place it on the floor, away from any fabrics or tables or chairs or anything that could catch light, and then you light it. And while it's burning, it's busy suctioning in a lot of the negative energies. Now, in the manual, I don't know how to screen share at the moment. It gave me the option earlier, now it's gone, so I can't show you. But in the manual, I hope, Dejan, you saw it. There's a picture of a bowl, and you can see like the burnt stuff on top. It's really quite intense. That bowl was in a house where there was a lot of marital fighting. The husband and wife were fighting a lot. There were suspicions around adultery, and the kids were quite sick because of all the stress. So I had to do a lot of clearing of that house. So if your bowl looks like the bowl in the manual, you are going to want to burn another bowl, all right? And you can burn a bowl in each room, definitely in the kitchen, because that's a high traffic area and a lot of emotions there, the living room or the lounge, and in the main bedroom at least. So what I'll do is I'll do those big rooms, And then I'll maybe do one in the passage outside the kids' rooms just to draw in the energy. And then if it's just a few like dark spots, that's great. That's evidence of what was pulled in and what's been transmuted. Let it cool down when the flames have gone out, and then just cover the tin foil over so that you don't touch that stuff. Otherwise it's going to get on your fingers and you're going to have to clean that. And then place it in a packet, tie a knot, and put it in the dustbin. You can't unfortunately bury tin foil, but what you could do if you wanted to is you could take that into the garden and just empty it as best you can into the garden, and then cover it up and throw the tin foil away. But I just tend to put it in a plastic packet and throw it away. Alright, so there's instructions there. Go try it out. If you need help, you can always message me. The other way to clear energy from a room is to smudge. Now, what a lot of people don't realize when they're smudging, and smudging is when you take like sage or 𝗏𝗏𝗰𝗵𝗶, you know, like one of the herbs, and you light it and it creates a smoke, and you use like a fan or a feather, and you're busy creating smoke in the room to clear the energy. Now, if you're using like white sage, white American sage, for example, it is antibacterial as well, and it can clear away germs. But the real purpose for smudge is to create a denser energy so that our ancestors or our guides can come through and be more present with us in the physical. So yes, it does loosen negative energies, but if you don't create a portal to suck out all the negative energies that are loosened, it's just going to settle again. So people don't realize that. So you got to smudge, okay, and you like clear, you fill the whole room, and you blow it into the corners, and you visualize like everything's been pulled into the center, and then you need to vacuum it out, okay? Otherwise it's just going to resettle again. So there's instructions there about smudging the room. I just call it saging, and that's another way to clear negative energies, okay? Additional tools to assist you. If you are feeling physically drained and you've commanded that all the negative energies leave you and you've visualized it, but you're still just feeling like there might be some residue, or you just want to give yourself a nice boost, this auric clearing or cleansing shower is amazing. All right, and I promise you, you're going to feel really good after. So it's a shower in water as cold as you can handle it, okay? Like Tony Robbins, he does it like cryo chamber, where he like dunks into ice cold water. And if you don't know about Wim Hof, the Iceman, I really encourage you to go and watch some of his videos or learn more about him, because he's breaking the whole mindset around our physical abilities. And you know, like, oh, if you don't eat for so many days, you'll die. And yet there are breatharians out there that live for years and they haven't eaten anything physical. They say if you fall into you know, icy water in the Arctic, you will only survive for so many minutes. But Wim Hof is now showing and teaching and training people that you can not only survive, it's actually good for you, and it's all about mind over matter and activating your abilities. So yeah, go check it out. I love this. More and more information is coming to the fore, and the truth is being revealed, and we are being activated, which is exciting. All right, so the cleansing shower is cold water. If it's in the middle of winter, then just do it lukewarm, but do it as cold as you can, okay? It really does make you feel amazing. Okay, so while you're showering, what you're going to do is you're going to put soap all over your body. All over your body, you're going to put shampoo in your hair and get your whole body covered, okay? Then in a clockwise direction, okay, because you're turning up the energy, you're going to rinse off. And then you're going to lather yourself up again. So you're going to be squeaky clean, but you're going to do it 3 times. 3 times, wash, 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 hair again, everything. Rinse off for the 3rd time, and then for the ladies, you can put your conditioner in your hair, and then, you know, do your thing and get out. But you're going to feel amazing, squeaky clean. You're going to be shiny and bright and sparkly, and everyone's going to think you look amazing, but you're going to feel 100% better. So that's a nice little additional tool for you to pull out, and you can also recommend it to anybody who's feeling a little bit yucky, okay? Then I've got a prayer in here, which I've actually kept from some of my teachings. I pulled out the Kabbalistic Cross, okay, because I studied the Kabbalah and the Tree of Life, and I actually ascended and I went through it and I experienced it. And I've, like recently as well, I've discovered that the flower of life is once again a lie. It's a false metatronic implant to shut us down. And the true name of the flower of life is actually the daisy of death. Can you believe it? And what we want to be working with is the crystal flower. It's known as the Kathara or Catharic grid. I'm busy studying it at the moment. So I've removed the Kabbalistic Cross from my teachings now, because it used to teach us how to put the Kabbalistic Cross into our auric field and how to protect ourselves. But actually that whole 𝐏𝐒𝐿𝐿 is negative programming. It's like, whoa, we have to relearn everything again. So when in doubt, remember, always go back to source. Go back to the one. You are connected to your higher self, which is connected to the Creator. Go within. Trust that. Okay? The power of my own free will. Nothing beats that. Okay? But if you want to call in some extra assistance, you can call in Archangel Michael. And there's like it's basically a little ritual. And you say, I invoke Archangel Michael with the 5th dimensional tube of light. That tube of light is really nice, because when I'm doing a cord cutting or I'm helping someone with a cord cutting, it's nice to visualize that tube come down over you, because it kind of feels safe. And it's like I can hear the echo inside the tube. And then in that tube, I visualize cosmic fire then releasing and cleansing me. And it's also nice because you can put yourself in a tube at nighttime, so that nothing from outside can get to you, but you're still connected, you know, to earth and grounding, and of course to the higher dimensions. So that's quite nice to visualize that as well. And you basically say, Michael, please place me in this tube of light around me in this lifetime and in all lifetimes. So this is quite cool, because it kind of like opens you up to all possibilities here. And when I first read this, I was like, it didn't make sense to me like 13 years ago. Now I'm like, great. We're asking for protection for all of ourselves. This time, past times, future times, this reality, alternate realities, you know, this system, it's amazing. So, place this tube of light around me in this lifetime and in all lifetimes. All planetary systems and all solar systems. All alternate realities and all parallel realities, all alternate universes and all parallel universes, as well as all source systems in this time and in all times. Wow. Then we got it covered there. Michael, or Michael, however you wish to pronounce his name, use your sword of light to clear me of all negative energies, all thought forms and beings. See, maybe we want to add in the negative there. Anyway, and when I am clear, escort these energies into the tube of light and return them to the 5th dimension to be transmuted to another form of light. Close up my aura to the influence of all beings except of my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides and guardians. So be it, and so it is. So there's a nice little additional little thing for you. All right, just having a look here. Burn smudging. Dejan, he says, burning, smudging, Palo Santo as well, yes. Holy wood also cleans the room, absolutely. I love the smell of Palo Santo. And you know, it's quite rare. Did you know that Palo Santo is only effective if the tree has fallen over naturally and died, not forced? Otherwise it changes the frequency. I did not know that. The trees told me that. And you know, the trees have an amazing network as well. Excellent. All right. How does the home feel? How does the energy feel in your home at the moment? Does the energy in your home feel good? Does it feel calm and relaxed? Does the energy feel maybe a little bit heavy, and it could do with an energy clearing? Does the energy feel heavy and there's definitely tension in the house? There's definitely a dark energy in my home and I want it gone. Just quickly click on that poll for me on the feed, just so we can see where you're at. Good. And just put in the chat for me if you still feel like maybe there's some negative energy hanging on your body, or maybe you feel like you're not 100% sure if we've managed to clear this energy. We didn't actually sit and consciously do the I command. for ourselves individually. But yes. Good. All right. All right, so I'm just going to, good. All right, so we're going to do some clearing on our home now as well, or the space that you're in at the moment. Okay. All right, so using our imagination, very, very important. Putting ourselves outside of ourselves really helps. Why? Because our brain can get involved. This brain has been trained and conditioned, so at the moment it's not really trustworthy, and it shouldn't be our first source of information, right? So we want to say, brain, disengage. We're going to engage imagination. And whenever you hear yourself going like, oh, maybe I'm just imagining it, you go, yes, I'm imagining it. You say, yes, brain, we're playing a game, we're being creative, we're imagining. And then the brain kind of sits back and goes like, oh, okay, and lets you take over. Engage your imagination. So imagine that you're looking at the floor plan of your home, or you can see it from above, like an eagle's eye view, or visualize that you're floating above. Or maybe it's on a computer screen. You've pulled up your house on the computer screen, and you are going to scan and have a look-see if there's any negative energies. Now, I was speaking earlier about asking your higher self, okay? This is very important, because you don't want your brain to tell you, oh, well, I think there might be something. When you hear those thoughts in your head, I think, you know it's coming from your brain. So you go, it's okay, brain, I'm not talking to you right now. Shh, go into hibernation mode. Go sit in the waiting room. Okay, shush, brain, I'm not speaking to you right now. And visualize your home, and you ask the question, does my home have any negative energies? Yes or no? And the first thing that comes to you, the first thought, the first answer is from your higher self, okay? It's the first thing, it's instant. Okay, now check. Are there any portals that need to be closed on this property, yes or no? First thing that comes to you, trust it. Trust it. The more you trust, the more you're going to see. The more you see, the more you're going to trust. And in the beginning, you're going to be like, just for shits and giggles, let's just go for it. Let's just pretend. Okay, it's a way of bypassing your body. You're engaging with your energy. Okay, so we're going to engage our free will. Okay, you're going to use your visualization. Feel yourself powering up. Okay, we're setting the intention. We're going to clear this property using our imagination. Okay, and your words. By the power of my own free will, I command that all negative entities, negative beings, negative energies, negative portals, any breaks in security, and any curses or spells on this property be cleared now and removed, and that my property be protected by the highest order. This is my command. Let it be done in the highest and best way. And then take a moment to just thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. I have faith. I have faith. I know it is being done. Now, activate your visualization. Be the witness. Observe. See how the energy is scanning through the house and catching the entities. How there were probably entities in your ceiling, entities in the floor underneath, hiding in cupboards. How, like magically, the energy is being swept out from the corners. Any energy that's sitting under beds or in cupboards, in the cupboard, under cupboards or behind doors, is being cleared out. And how the whole place, like, you can visualize it anywhere. Use your imagination. Do you want a unicorn to come in and like regurgitate rainbows everywhere? Do you want to create a massive vacuum cleaner that vacuums it all up? Do you want to bring in like a thick, gooey white substance to fill everything and then suck that out and it takes everything with? Use your imagination. Create it with your imagination. What would be an awesome way to clear your space? You can create a machine, especially one of those like little automated robots that just goes around and cleanses. You can create anything. You can create a gun, alien technology that you just kind of spray everywhere and it's all done. Use your imagination. Witness it. See that negative energy being pulled out, okay? And then visualize the protection. Now, when you visualize, it's your energy, your frequency. It's personal to you. It's like your own, not IP address, because it's not about finding you, but it's about your own unique signature. You know, have you ever seen like where someone's like signed something off? You know, like the boxers when they come and they got their gloves on, and then the ref comes and he signs and he's checked it and this is good to go. His stamp of approval. Using someone else's method, or oh, they've used diamond light, I'm going to use diamond light. Yeah, it can work, but it's not going to be as powerful as you creating something from your imagination. Use your own power. It's like when doing healing. Hey, Reiki, however you want to call it. It's, yeah, go and learn the symbols and the procedures, but it's never going to be powerful. Firstly, it's entry level. Secondly, it's not yours. The most powerful healers are healers that have never been trained, because they just know, because they haven't been taught. Because when you learn something from a manual, it restricts you. Now you're in the brain, you're thinking, oh, what was the next procedure? I can't remember. What were the right words? Just do it. Do it from your place of truth. That's the most powerful. Okay, so now have a look at your home. Do that remote view. Zoom out, have a look. Is your home now clear? Does it look like it's feeling a bit better? Okay? So let's have a look. Now that you've cleared your home or your space, how does it feel to you? Does it feel better? Does it seem lighter? Does it still feel the same? Or does it feel worse? In which case, help! Let me know. How's your space now feeling? Hey, did you do a good job? I know you did. I know you did, because I believe in you. I believe in you. You just got to believe more in you too. A lot of people, as soon as they start to realize their true power and potential, and I was guilty of this, it was almost like I would issue the command and just kind of like, there we go, it's done. And I'd walk away and I'd forget to witness it. You have to witness it. You got to lock it in. Okay? And then, of course, seal the deal with positive. So now you're going to fill your space. Fill your space with so much love and joy and happiness. Me, I always invite the elemental beings in, the fairies of joy and happiness. You summon them by calling them. I summon the fairies of joy and happiness. I, the lightly heart. 𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶. You're supposed to be silly with this. Make yourself laugh. 𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶𝐶. Oh, the fairies love it. Invite them in. Let them bring in all those beautiful nature energies. It's a wonderful way to increase the vibration. Fill your home with music. Music, music, music. Not with headphones. You got to feel the vibrations. Yeah. It's all about disconnecting those headphones. That one star being lady, Akura, she basically disappeared into the fourth dimension for almost a whole year last year, and she said it was hell. She got to see exactly what the darkness was planning for us and see it, how we were meant to turn out. And she said it was all, they'd gotten rid of all the old people. It was all just the youngsters, and they were all glued to their phones with headphones on, blue technology, you know, the blue screen, and easily controlled, hive mind. It was awful. And yeah, they want to disconnect us. Take the headphones off, play the music, go listen to live music, get the drum out. It's the vibrations. The vibrations loosen the codes and the information that's stored in your bones. Okay, you've got to have that music. So put on the music, dance. If you can sing, even better. Do you know that singing causes the vibrations, the vocal cords to vibrate, which increases the vibration? And if you can sing your commands and your intentions and your affirmations, oh man, there's no holding you back. So do stuff that's going to increase vibration. Very, very important. You can do it. Good. All right. So only one person says that their home feels much better and lighter. Nobody else? How's your home feeling? How does it feel? Tell me. I want to know. Tell me. How does your home feel now? Okay. All right. Let's have a look. All right. I want to teach you a calling upon ritual as well. Another tool, really nice to have in your back pockets, okay? Because it's going to take you a little while to sort of get your brain under control. And what I love about this calling upon ritual is because you are calling in your guides, your angels, ascended masters, warriors of light. So if you're going in to clear a really heavy situation, you might want to have some backup. Might make you feel better as a human. So the calling upon a ritual is what I teach in sacred geometry as well, because you're going to use one of the basic, powerful shapes. Guess what it is? And the pyramid, okay? Isn't it interesting that the darkness also uses that, hey? It's now become a symbol of bad. And what's it, the all-seeing eye, shit like that, okay? But it's also used by the light. It's power. Energy is neither good nor bad. It's what you do with it, okay? So the darkness uses the same energy and changes the frequency. So a lot of what they're using was originally from the light or from good, and they've tainted it. So you're going to have to use your discernment as well with everything that you're seeing out there and go, has this possibly been changed or tainted by darkness? How do I get it back to its original form and energy? So using the triangle, what the triangle is, it's essentially a communication tool. Isn't that cool? So the way I visualize it is, because we live in a matrix and it's all this coding and frequencies and energies and pulsations, it's really challenging to get our intention or our desires out there. So what this does is it creates a little tunnel. All right, so when you're going to speak your words, what you do is you create the triangle and you lift it up and then you speak your words through it. Very, very powerful. It's like instantaneous. So it's called the calling upon ritual. So you place your hands in front of your navel first. So there, okay, because that's your creation center, your hara, your sacral. And it's like, even though the throat is a seat of truth, it's like, this is all that I am. This is like where I feel myself. So you're saying, I am, and when your hand's on the hara, so I am Layla, or just I am, actually, because I'm more than just Layla, the body. I am, and then you lift it up, and you say, I call upon, all right? So think about who you want to call upon. I want to call upon 𝗣𝘀𝗆𝗆 to help with the finances and money, or I want to call upon Archangel Michael and the warriors of light, okay? So you use this to communicate, and you say, it's like you're saying, hello, anyone up there, I'm calling on you now, and then you bring the energies down, okay? So it's like you're pulling it in through that tunnel. It's like you're giving them safe passage, I like it. And then you're bringing it into your reality, into you, okay? So you move your hands, okay, above your head with the palms up, and you call it in, and you cross it over, and you bring it down, okay? Or you can just bring it down into your reality. Don't worry too much about the physical aspect. You don't want to be in your brain with this, okay? So I call upon the true light and the powers of heaven and the powers of the universe, okay? Or your angels or whatever, to come down for the purpose of, all right? And then state. So I've given a couple of options there in the manual, which is nice for you to use. And yeah, you can go through that, okay? All right, how's everyone doing? We've got a few more minutes left, so I'm going to hold in my pee because I don't want to break now. Let's just go back here. All right, so I'm going to show that quickly in the video. Obviously, I was going to say there's a lot more to this, but actually, in truth, it doesn't need to be. The simpler you keep it, the more powerful all these distractions, all the extra layers, all the fluff. You know, when I started my training with the mystery school, oh man, it was exciting. I mean, I was young and it was all about, you know, oh, I'm going to become the next ritual master, and then I get to wear this special whatever, you know, priest cloak, whatever, you know, and I can buy more tools, and all of a sudden it became this show, and I got so like wrapped up in putting on a show for people. I realized later that's what it was, because as humans, if you're going to pay money for somebody to come into your home and clear it, you know, someone just shows up in their little clapped out old car and they're like, oh, that's cool, I'm just going to bring in some light. You're like, what? You want to see a show. You want to have the holy water and the Normani Padres, and they must be dressed up and they must be there for a couple of hours, right? But that's just drama. We can do this work without the drama, without the facade, without the ego. You know, the fancy words and things like that, if you can just bring in joy. You know, joy encompasses love, you know, and it's the happiness, and from joy comes prosperity and abundance and all of that as well. Set the intention by the power of my own free will, because this is my reality. This is where I am creating. You know, Sarah has her reality, Deep has his reality, 𝗏𝘀𝘆 has his reality, you know, your world, your realities. But in mine, I'm commanding. I am the master here. And it's up to us to remember that we are those masters. We're not the slaves. Take off those shackles, okay? Visualize, I'm taking it off, I'm freeing myself. I'm activating. And by the power of my own free will, I command that this happen in my space. And then when you visualize it, you're injecting it with your own unique signature, your frequency. And you witness it until it's done. And then you increase your vibration. Once again, for joy. You're not wishing this or creating it because you want to become an evil tyrant and take over the world. No, it's because you're a good soul. And every day you choose to be good. You choose the higher road. You choose to face your shadow. You choose to admit when you were wrong and I'm still learning. You choose to be kind and gentle to yourself and loving. First and foremost, you must be self-centered before you can go out there and help others. And the more you can do this kind of space clearing and energy clearing and protection for yourself, you can then move on to others and then places. Can you imagine the next time you go shopping? Can you imagine, without pomp and ceremony, without telling anyone, you just go in and you clear that space. And free will with those beings, well, they're in your reality, okay? And you can announce, hey, I'm coming in to clear. So anybody that doesn't want to be here, best you move on. But this is my space and I'm commanding that the following happen. And it's the same with protection around your property. You can place a shield, like I've got a shield by my front door, and I have stated, like energetically, anyone who enters through this door will be cleared of negative energies, because you are not bringing that into my space. And when I was still seeing people and they were coming to my home for healing and that, the people that had entities attached that would not come through that door, they wouldn't even show up for the session. So you can state that, like, what will make your life easier? Go into that creative space like a child. You know, my son is 6 years old and he keeps designing all these cool new guns and weapons and this one and that one. I mean, my other son, he designed a whole range of shoes, tackies, right? Like sneakers. And this one's got a missile launcher, and this one's got a cappuccino machine, and this one's got a secret area we can bake muffins. Why not? Why not? You know, use your imagination to create your armor. See it like a space suit, an organic space suit. That maybe it sits inside here in a tiny little compartment, like a speck of light deep down inside. And when you activated it, it magically appears around you. And it's organic. It can adjust accordingly. It can camouflage you according to your environment. And the last thing you want to do is go into a shopping center with your light shining bright. You're going to be a target. Go in there with the same frequency so you can slip in and slip out, right? Yeah. Use it to help you. What's going to make your life easier? and then have faith by the power of my own free will. You know you are worthy and deserving. You do have the power. And the more you just say, fuck it, I'm just going to believe it, and I'm doing this, and I'm using my imagination, and even though my brain says, oh, but this isn't going to work, you just say, it doesn't matter, we're just having fun. We're just imagining. And you're going to see this stuff's going to work. Okay? All right, good. We've come to the end of our time. I've had such an amazing time with you. It kind of sucks that I can't really interact with you, but I thought we would try it this way. You know, that I'm here and I'm available if you want to chat or discuss anything. You know, after you've been trying out these methods, use your manual. You are welcome to share it with others. Go ahead and teach them too. Let's get a lot of people out there back into their power so that we can change this world for the better. Thank you so much. I love you. I believe in you. I celebrate you. And well done for listening to your souls and showing up today. I'm proud of you. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.